Okay, class. So today we're going to analyze the unit send you, and after that we are going to start working in projects. Okay. Remember, check your attendance, please.
Gracias.
Your attendance. Don't forget your attendance.
Y haga eso, porque está pagando por un precio, le están dando la mitad de lo que debería de servicio.
Ya.
Así va a tener más velocidad de carga.
Okay, okay. Muy bien. Okay, class, let's continue so today. Muy bien. Entonces, como les decía, we're going to work in the unit. Okay. 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 This unit it's a basic model, that can be used for material of any length. We have every stage. I put them in the lines so we can analyze every stage. Why the title, why they call the instructions, okay, why they choose the topic, all those things we're going to see. Okay, so let's start with the beginning. First part. Why did they use this topic? Because the blood circulatory system, it can be used to talk about any kind of system. Okay, entonces that's why they put the pumping system. That's the title, and here they write a number. Okay, we're going to see what they write, what they wrote about. Okay, here, for example, number 1, you say as the top. What to read? Let's. Okay, you can start reading, so you can speak also. Okay, who wants to read the first number 1? You have to look at the pumping system. That's the title. Why did they use this title?
Can read. Good morning, everyone.
Yes.
As the unit title indicates, language is approached through an area of content. The topic represents a common form of technical discourse describing a circulatory system, although in this case presented from an unusual point of view.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, that's right. Very good. Thank you. Okay, so you can do the same, no? You can choose a title for your unit, for your lesson. Okay, it's related with the content that you are presenting. Okay. In this case, it's topic represented como form of technical discourse. Okay, but this time it's represented in an unusual way. They use a cartoon. Okay, here we can see the cartoon. They presented the content, the topic, okay, in this cartoon. okay? And that's why they put the type, okay? And later we are going to see that this was a paragraph, talking about the circulatory system. Okay, they had started here. Number 2. Every pump is part of a system for moving fluids. The human body has a system for moving blood. How does it work? Okay, that's the starter. Okay, let's read the explanation why they choose this. Okay. Here we have the example. What is the starter? The starter plays a number of important roles. What are the roles? It creates a context of knowledge for the comprehension of the input. Okay, so creates a context. What they are going to talk about in the unit? They are going to talk about the pumping system. Okay, a system. In this case, a pumping system. Okay. Comprehension in the ESP classroom is often more difficult than in real life because tests are taken in isolation. In the outside world, a test would normally appear in a context, which provide reference points to assist understanding. Hackinson and Waters. These are the author of the book. Okay, so that's why it's important to give the student a context. Okay, context of the exercise, because the context is isolated from the real life. Another advantage is that it activates the learner's minds and gets them thinking. Okay? They can then approach the test in an active frame of mind. We were talking about using the background when we developed reading comprehension, remember? It arouses the learner's interest in the topic. It engages the student. It reveals what learners already know in terms of language and content. The teacher can then adjust the lesson to take this into account. So they can you can use this introduction, the starter. So they as a brainstorm, for example. Okay, and gives you information about what they know about the content that you want to show them. Okay, it provides a meaningful context in which to introduce new vocabulary or grammatical items. So when you start doing your exercises, it is important that you can give them a context. No? Here you have explanation why you are going to talk about this topic. This is the topic and this is the context, okay? And this is the first exercise, okay? In this case, the input or in others book says that is the pre-reading task, you can say, okay? Let's start there. Okay. So you can start similar to this, no? But you can have this as I say, the author, this is a model, no? This is a model. You can use it or you can improve it, okay? Okay, let's go to the next page, okay? What about next the step, gathering information? What do they mean by gathering information? This session processing extracting information from the input and begins the process of relating this context and language to a wider context. Okay. So when you practice in these these are the exercises. What is the purpose? Extracting information. Okay? Here you have extracting information. That's why they say gathering information. And you can divide in the same way. You can say task 1 or exercise 1. Okay. For example, you say step 1. Connect the two halves of the sentences to make true statements. Okay. So you are extracting information. Okay. First you have to, okay. Okay, we're going to solve the exercises and the way that you can see the way they work. Okay. I want 2 volunteers. A ver. One volunteer to read the first part. The
Me,
first
Professor.
Professor.
Okay. Okay, please.
Who is going to read?
Yeah.
Everyone.
Okay. A ver, Mrs. Marta Vargas, okay? First.
Thank
Okay.
you, Professor.
Okay.
Hello, I am a blood cell. I am going to take you on a tour around this body's blood district.
Yes, good. Okay. And go on, please, Miss Marta.
We are in one of the veins at the moment on our way to the heart. We've given up all our oxygen, so we are feeling rather tired.
Excellent, very good. Okay, next. Go on.
We are going into the heart through a ball and into the right article. This is like collecting chamber, and then we'll be sucked into the right ventricle.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Go on, please.
Here we are now in the ventricle. The heart muscles are starting to contract, so the pressure in here is quite high now. We're about to be bumped into one of the arteries to take us to the lungs. Here we go!
Yes. Excellent. Okay. Okay. Next, other person. Another one. Who wants to read? Continue reading. A ver, let's see.
Me, Professor.
Okay, okay. Luz. Okay, Miss Luz. Okay.
We have just arrived and the things were getting nice, sorry, and clean and picking up the fresh oxygen. That feels good. All that lovely oxygen.
Excellent. Go on.
We have got our oxygen now, but before we go off round the body, we have to go back to the heart. You see, after going through the lung, we are not at the high enough pressure to take us all around the body. So the heart has to boost the pressures.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Another one? Other volunteer?
Me, Professor.
Okay, Miss Jack.
Here we are in the heart again, but this time in the left side, all blood to be pumped into the arteries You will have guessed by now that the heart is really two pumps side by side.
Okay.
This is where we live. The heart. We are just coming through the outlet from the left
Ventricle.
ventricle. I can see the words. We are at the very high pressure now, but we've got a long way to go giving our oxygen to the tissue by
Okay, to the tissue. Tissue. Okay, very good. Okay, now let's start with the exercise number 1. Okay, connect the two halves of the sentence to make true statements. The heart.
It's a kind of pump.
You have to change. You have to make a pair. Okay, you have to match. The heart, the veins, the articles, the right ventricle, the lungs, the fresh blood, the left side of the heart. Okay, we have to make a match with the reading that we have done. Okay, the heart. What does the heart do?
Professor, the heart pumps the fresh blood into the arteries.
Yes. Okay. The veins.
Carry blood to the heart.
Carry the blood to the heart.
Yes, to the heart. Yes, very good. Okay. So here, as you see, the exercise is gathering the information, no? Getting the information from the cartoon, no? To practice extracting information. Okay. Good. And then they relate with the step 2. No? Copy the diagram of the heart and blood system. Okay. Now, reading again, they have to copy the diagram. They relate, no? This with this. Okay. They use the information. Okay. It says step 1 and 2 are not only comprehension checks, they also provide data for later language work. This is an example of unit coherence. Okay, so when you think about the exercises, you have to think about this. Okay, you can every exercises will lead you to another step to practice, no? The reading comprehension. Yes.
May I say something?
Yes.
Okay, what I understood until now is that, for example, in case that our group choose a medical group of students, learners, and we are going to talk about, as a medical thing, we're going to talk about this comic, for example, and then we are going to do an exercise about that, you know? And then
Yes.
all the exercise has to focus on the team. Is that what I understood until
Yes.
now?
Yes. Okay, I'm showing you this example, but you don't have to do the same. Okay. Yes,
No,
this
no,
is
no.
example, okay. You don't need to develop a cartoon. No. You are going to do that according to your content, no? To your material that you have. But we're analyzing how they use the input, this cartoon, to develop all the reading comprehension exercises. Huh? as he said, it's not only a reading comprehension, but also he says it provides data for later language work, no? And it shows the unit coherence. So when you develop the exercises, you have to have a coherence, no? Coherence when you are developing the exercises. Okay. Let's continue analyze. You have step 3. Use this expression to replace those similar meaning in the input drawn. Next to each other, increase, enter, get smaller, return, collect, sit, flat vessel. Okay, entonces, then we have the explanation here. Number 5. Learners should always be encouraged to find answers for themselves wherever possible. Okay. Here they are processing another comprehension is using synonyms, okay, similar synonyms, okay, example here, okay. We continue. Step 4, listening task. Here, this they introduce, okay, this one of the common causes of illness nowadays is heart disease. From what you have just learned about the heart. Ms. Marisa, could you turn off your microphone, please? Okay, thank you. Look at the pump in task in section 18, just like the heart. There are several things that you could go wrong with. Make a table like this and complete it with information on the cassette. Okay, here they use cassette, but we have also audio, no? Here. Why do they write this? Let's see. Okay. Let's see the next explanation that we have here. Number 6. Okay. I'm showing you this because I consider very interesting the way they develop the exercise. It's possible to incorporate opportunities for learners to use their own language and abilities at any stage. It is particularly useful to do this as soon as the basic information contained in the input has been identified, in order to reinforce connections between these and the learner's own interests and needs. Here, for example, the learners are required to go beyond the information in the input. They have to relate the subject matter to their own knowledge and reasoning powers, but they're still using the language they have been learning. Okay, so this is important to incorporate their knowledge, so background knowledge, their students' abilities. Okay. Okay. Let's move on. Language focus. Okay. Now we have to go to the language. Okay. This session gives practice in some of the language elements needed for tasks. These may be concerned with aspects of sentence structure, function, or text construction. The point focuses are drawn from the input, but they are selected according to their usefulness for the task. Okay, so in step 7, you take the language, okay, the language focus. Okay. Here we have, look at the description and how relief rainfall occurs. Relief. Okay. There you can, okay. Why they use this? Okay. This example, let's read A. Further input related to the rest of the unit in terms of subject matter of language can be introduced at any point in order to provide a wider range of contents for exercises and tasks. This helps learners to see how their limited resources can be used for tackling a wide range of problems. Okay. So let's look at the adding other information. Okay. Here we have the information. In 9, for example, here we have it's more vocabulary, but they are using the language that the teacher one day practice. Okay. 9. Okay. What this sentence means. It's related with 7 and okay. Learners need practice in organizing information, as well as learning the means for expressing those ideas. Okay. So the exercises tells them this expression is very simple. It follows the diagram in number stage, explaining what happens at each stage. Make a similar description for the heart and blood system. On your diagram, number the stages first. Then write a sentence to explain each stage. Begin like this. All blood goes into the right artery. The blood is sucked into the right branch. Okay, so you can continue. Number 10, linking clause. The descriptions of relief rainfall is very simple, but there is a lot of repetition in it. We can make it shorter like this. Okay, here you are teaching also summary, some summarizing. Okay, let's say earlier work is recycled through another activity. This time, the focus is more on the language form than the meaning. Okay, they practice the language here. Okay. Linking clauses. Okay. And there we have exercise 11. What changes have been made to shorten the description? Make your description of the blood system shorter in the way. Okay. So you have to explain, you have to practice the first part, and then you can use the explanation. Language work can also involve problem solving with learners, using their powers of observation and analysis. Okay. Here you have an example of how you can practice this. Okay. But it depends on your material, the things that you have chosen to develop. Okay. What about this? The last exercise. Okay. Here we say step 7, describing a system. The diagram shows the flow of water through a domestic central heating and hot water system. Study the diagram and then describe the flow of water through the system. Okay, so in this step, they are putting in practice all that they know. There is a gradual movement within the unit from guided to more open-ended work. This breaks down the learning tasks and gives the learners greater confidence for approaching the task. Okay. So if you follow the steps, they will be more confident to practice all the sentences, all their knowledge that they got to describe this. Tenses in description. Note the difference between these two descriptions. We are going into the right article. The all black goes into the right article. Why are different tenses used in the different situations? Describe the rainfall cycle as if you were a water molecule. Begin with this. Hello, my name is H20 or O, but you can call me H for short. I'm a water molecule. At the moment, I'm floating around the sunny Pacific, but it's very warm and I'm starting to continue, okay? So why do they use this kind of exercise? Okay. 13. The unusual type input gives the opportunity for some more imaginative language work, okay? So you can explode imagination when you are using this. And 14 says, turn around your place of study of work. Draw a simple plan on the side, give a general description of what happens in the place of the site, take a group of visitors around the site, giving a commentary as you go. Here the learners have to create their own solution to a communication problem. In so doing, they use both language and the content knowledge developed through the unit. The learners, in effect, are being asked to solve a problem using English rather than to do exercises about English, given the build-up through the unit. The task should be well within the grasp of both learner and the teacher. Okay, so you can develop exercises for using the English rather than to do exercises about English. In that way, you can contribute your learners' knowledge. Okay? At the end says task. No? Why they write task? 15. Okay. The task also provides a clear objective for the learners and so helps to break up the often wandering mass of the syllabus by establishing landmarks of achievement. Okay, so the task you have there is a tour around your place of study. No? This is the task. Okay, so you can develop the exercise. Okay. In that way, you can organize your exercises. Okay. But it's not compulsory. It's just an example. It's a model. The idea is that have your words should have coherence. Okay, should have meaningful exercises. Should have exercises that can lead your students to develop a final task by their own. Okay. Have you got it? Yes. Do you have any questions?
Professor, I have a question.
Yes.
So, how many exercises do we have to do for each lesson? Because you said that we have to prepare 2 lessons, right?
Yes.
So, how?
Well, as I told you, it depends on your material. Okay. Could be, for example, here we have.
Because there are 15 exercises, I think, connected and well connected. So beautiful.
And you can develop this lesson into 2. for example, and you can have 8 exercises in each lesson. Okay. Of 8 or 5. I think,
I see.
yeah, you can divide.
So Professor, I have another question. So we
Yes.
can use the same article, for example, in our case, which is an article from a
Yeah.
magazine, a science magazine.
Yeah.
So we can use the same article because in that case, those articles are very long. So we can use an article and teach 2 different lessons from the same article. We can do that because
Yes.
we can find a lot of information in the same article, you know. So
Yes, of course, you can do it.
Professor, we
Yes.
have to write different profiles or the same
No,
profile?
no different.
the
Just
same.
one. It's one.
Yes.
Just one is good.
Just one? Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't have to write different profiles. But for example, if you want to develop one lesson for one profile and the other lesson for other profile, you can do it. But just one profile for each lesson.
Okay, Professor. Yeah.
Okay.
Professor, how many pages we have in the the book? Until how many?
How many pages? No more
Yes.
than 10.
No more than 10?
Yeah. For your exercises, no? That it could be according to your exercises. No? You put some graphics or drawings. I don't know. But you can. How do you say this? You can diagram so that you can have 2 or 3 exercises in each page. Okay.